objective and fact-based analysis of what's happened in the last 18 months. So
this launch of the national position paper is important. Yeah, today was the national position paper launch of the European Chamber, and this is, I would say, what is known to be the most important document that the European Chamber of Commerce issues every year since the year 2000, so this is the 8th edition. The idea is to give recommendations to the policymakers of the Chinese government based on the experience and the input of European companies that are doing business here in China. We have currently about, if you look at the Southwest chapter, we have 160 member companies. About 60 of them are in Chongqing and 100 in Sichuan. I think it's a little bit what we addressed in the beginning. Chongqing is a very large economy. It's still growing very fast, and this creates a lot of opportunities of of markets that have not yet been fully reached their full potential. So the size and the speed of growth definitely is a reason why foreign companies should investigate to set up a business here in the region. And I think another very important element or reason why European companies should consider to invest in Chongqing is that now, by having built up such a strong infrastructure, it is really well connected with inland China and also towards Europe. So you can access not only Chongqing market by having a setup in Chongqing, but if you make a radius, I think it's around Chongqing, you easily can access about 300 million market, also from regard of residents of people. And so the well connectiveness, the fact that Chongqing is very well connected, and the fact that it's very big and fast growing and also cheaper than other regions in China make it a very attractive destination. And Chongqing has also improved a lot on providing qualified labor. We have a very, very large labor pool here in Chongqing, and this again is of course a very important element. So by putting all this together, I think it's definitely necessary for foreign companies to consider investments here in the region. It's spicy. Yeah, it's spicy. It's beautiful with mountains and water, so it's a very beautiful environment. It's a very impulsive city, and the last element would be the people here are actually very friendly and open-hearted and are very welcoming. People from abroad are really very friendly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for all this.
No, yeah. My pleasure.
But within China, I can tell you that Southwest China offers some of the best opportunities. It's the fastest growing region we've seen in the last couple of years from an economic perspective in terms of the entire economy, but also in terms of our own membership. Southwest China is our fastest growing chapter for the European Chamber as well. So we see the region here very optimistically. We see Chongqing in particular. Many initiatives have been taking place to promote the innovative environment that Chongqing has. And yeah, it's just a great place to be. Well, every year we do our business confidence survey. Chongqing I've seen as one of the fastest growing markets in terms of companies coming here and in terms of revenue. In terms of profitability, it's not one of the highest, but I think that's because companies, when they make an investment, it takes them a while to build up and get a return on that investment. So I think people need to think of China in the long term. And again, as I just said, remember that Chongqing is one of the fastest growing economies in China, and take a medium to long-term perspective. You're not going to get an immediate return, but Chongqing has a very friendly business environment, and I know officials here are very much encouraging companies to come here, and I think it's, again, a very good opportunity for companies. Well, you know, China has taken a gradual process to opening up, and often new sectors are opened up on a pilot program. You have these national economic zones, you have free trade zones. What I would like to see is Chongqing being the first city or the first place in China where perhaps a bank can get an offshore business license for custodial services. I'd like to see Chongqing perhaps be the first place in the last few years to grant new insurance licenses to companies that are looking to do business in that sector. I mean, let's be frank, Chongqing is competing with all the other cities in China, and the question is, because businesses talk to each other, is what are you able to do in Chongqing that you can't do elsewhere? What has happened first in Chongqing that didn't happen elsewhere? And my concern is, I meet a lot of government officials that say to me, oh, don't worry. If you can do it in Guangdong, you can do it in Chongqing. Oh, if you can do it in Shanghai, you can do it in Chongqing. My recommendation is, don't wait for somebody else to be able to say that they can do it and then say we can do it in Chongqing. Let's make Chongqing the first to do it. And for that, we need to have a very strong government here, municipal government, that pushes very hard at the central level to make sure that Chongqing can be number one in certain areas where it has a strong capacity to show the world that, hey, we are the leader in this area. We are the first to provide this opportunity to foreign invested companies. That is why you should come to Chongqing. Charming, industrial, and progressive.
Mm-hmm. Charming in which way?
The people here. Mm-hmm. The people here are very warm, and I know that from talking to our members. They have very positive experiences here. People feel very, very good about the ambiance here.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And it's progressive, right?
Yes.
Progress in the way of its development in.
Yes, I mean it is progressing.
Mm-hmm.
It is progressing. It hasn't kept pace with some of the other cities nearby, but some of the more recent policies are focused on it becoming a more innovative environment, and that's a very strong positive. And Western China still has huge potential, and there's a limited number of cities that I would consider as a good anchor point for Western China, and I'd put Chongqing in the top 3 for sure.
For progressing, we can
Yeah.
do things, and industrial because a lot of manufacturers.
Yes, yes.
Like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Adam.
You're
so
welcome.
I guess thanks
Okay.
very much for taking our
Okay.
interview. Yeah.